Vexed by the death of his friend, Gilgamesh sets off on a journey to try to find the secret of immortality. As noted, although his mother was a goddess and his father a mortal, nonetheless Gilgamesh, although semi-divine, is himself mortal. At the beginning of the 4th chapter, he laments, quote, "How can I rest? How can I be at peace? Despair is in my heart. What my brother is now, that I shall be when I am dead. Because I am afraid of death, I will go as best I can to find Utnapishtim, who they call the Faraway, for he has entered the assembly of the gods." End quote. Utnapishtim is the Mesopotamian pendant to the biblical Noah. Since he alone of mortals has achieved immortality, Gilgamesh is determined to set out and to find him in order to ask how he overcame death. This then sets the scene for a great journey and quest for knowledge. On this journey as well, Gilgamesh is dependent on divine assistance. In the mountains, he prays to the moon god Sin for protection, and this seems to pay off since he's awakened from his sleep to find lions all around him, and in a heroic act he kills them with his axe and sword. He then reaches the gate of the great mountain, which is guarded by creatures who are part human and part scorpion. Gilgamesh recounts the story of his friendship with Enkidu and requests entry to the mountain so he can continue his search for Utnapishtim. The scorpion man tells him that no mortal has ever entered the mountain, but grants his request and allows him to pass. Gilgamesh enters the mountain and walks for a long time in darkness. Only at the end does the sun reappear. He then arrives at the beautiful Garden of the Gods, which borders on the sea. Here the god of the sun, Shamash, sees him and repeats the same warning given by the scorpion man, namely that no mortal has ever passed this way. But Gilgamesh, in his despair, is determined to continue. He next meets Siduri, the goddess of wine, who tries to bar his way. Gilgamesh tells his story and recounts his exploits to her. He states his motivation for his journey that is continually repeated throughout the chapter. Quote, "Because of my brother, I am afraid of death. Because of my brother, I stray through the wilderness and cannot rest." End quote. She gives him the advice simply to accept the lot of human beings, which means being mortal. I quote, "You will never find the life for which you are looking. When the gods created man, they allotted to him death, but life they retained in their own keeping. As for you, Gilgamesh, fill your belly with good things. Day and night, night and day. Dance and be merry. Feast and rejoice. Let your clothes be fresh. Bathe yourself in water. Cherish the little child that holds your hand, and make your wife happy in your embrace. For this, too, is the lot of man." The goddess embraces a form of Epicureanism, which also has echoes in Ecclesiastes. Although humans are mortal, they can still enjoy life. So one should try to focus on the good things and enjoy them while one can, and not worry about death. The obsession with death will only undermine the enjoyment of the precious time that one has. But Gilgamesh, still in despair, cannot accept this. Quote, "How can I be silent? How can I rest when Enkidu, whom I love, is dust, and I too shall die and be laid in the earth?" End quote. Gilgamesh learns that he must cross the ocean to find Utnapishtim. The idea of an ocean or a body of water surrounding the realm of the dead is a forerunner of the Greek conception of the rivers Styx and Acheron. Gilgamesh finds the ferryman, Urshnabi, the Mesopotamian pendant to Charon in Greek mythology. This is a motif repeated by many later authors such as Virgil and Dante. Gilgamesh and Urshnabi thus sail the ocean and ultimately arrive at their destination where they find Utnapishtim relaxing on the shore. Gilgamesh recounts his story to Utnapishtim. Upon hearing this, Utnapishtim tells him of the vanity of his pursuit. Quote, "There is no permanence. Do we build a house to stand forever? Do we seal a contract to hold for all time? Do brothers divide an inheritance to keep forever? Does the flood time of rivers endure? It's only the nymph of the dragonfly who sheds her larva and sees the sun in his glory. From the days of old, there is no permanence. When the Anunnaki, the judges, come together, and Mamutun, the mother of the destinies, together they decree the fates of men. Life and death they allot, but the day of death they do not disclose. Utnapishtim's argument is that nothing in the natural or human world lasts forever. It's thus an unreasonable desire to wish that human life could be eternal. The gods have made things the way they are, and there's nothing to do about it, but simply accept it. He repeats Siduri's point that the gods have made humans mortal, and this can't be changed. Gilgamesh makes no attempt to respond to Utnapishtim's argument. Instead, he simply notes that he's astonished by Utnapishtim's appearance. There's nothing extraordinary about Utnapishtim, who looks just like every other human being, even though he's immortal. Gilgamesh then asks him how he attained immortality, and this then is the motivation for the story that Utnapishtim recounts in the next chapter.